Hey guys, welcome back. Long time no see, as always seems to be the case with me, at least this year. Uh, I'd actually taken a vacation day for yesterday to do a music gig, and I did that last night, and I was supposed to have another one tonight, and it got canceled, so I found myself with some unexpected free time, and it really didn't break my heart, so I just thought I'd do a quick video. This one is I'm going to dedicate this one to my good friend Steve, Charlton Comics, Charlton66. Uh, Anybody watches Steve's channel knows what a great channel he has, great content. He shows a lot of stuff you don't see anywhere else. I mean, he collects a lot of mainstream stuff, but stuff we have in common is we love the Charlton comics and Golden Age stuff, the Justice Society and All Star Comics, and just anything to do with that. He's got a lot of great stuff in his collection. But anyway, I'm going to dedicate this video to him. I know he's probably shown probably all of his stuff. If not all, probably some of it in the video. And I think I probably featured some of these magazines in an earlier video. But he just I watched one of his videos and it kind of reminded me of some books I wanted to get, and I actually got these in the mail the other day. I'm going to feature Charlton Spotlight magazine. This came out from Argo Press. I think it was around 2000, maybe. Yeah. And I didn't have a few of the issues, and I think I actually got some ones I already had because I'd probably read the covers off of the other ones. But it's got some great history on Charlton Comics. This issue features Pat Boyette, who did just about the bulk of his comic work. I think he did some stuff for DC. He actually did some stuff for Warren too. But here's I guess it's like a portrait, and this was done by Tom Sutton. It's just got some great content. Got some repro some covers that he did. He actually did a Black Hawk for DC. All the Charlton stuff, the horror and sci-fi and war stuff. I mean, anything that Charlton had going on, Pat Boyette was probably a part of it. Just love his art. And it actually features a checklist of all of his comic work and a separate checklist of all his Charlton work. So it's really a nice little piece of reference. And it actually features a story on some of his Warren work. Yeah, some great stuff in here. Anyway, issue number 1 did not have that one. Issue number 2, more of the same. Got a picture of the old Charlton comic place where they produced everything, from one end to the other. And this is actually, I think this has got a reprint of a classic story from Strange Suspense Stories, and the art is by Joe Shuster, actually. So I didn't know Shuster did any work for Charlton, so that's kind of cool. Anyway, just like I say, if you're a Charlton fan or want to know anything about the history, these are really good resources. I think the rest of these are, this is just an extra I bought. Spotlight on Pete Morisi, Pam, as everybody came to know him. And here's another one. I don't think I had this one. It's got a Will Franz interview, and if you guys read Charlton War Comics, he's the one that did the storyline of the Private War of Willie Schultz. Really, really great stuff. And Space Western, now that's an oddball comic. And here is another one. I already had this one, but I've read the covers off of it. Number 5, featuring Joe Gill and Steve Skeets, Jim Aparo when he worked at Charlton. And anytime you order these books from Argo Press, they give you some inserts, some stuff they have for sale. And they have some little mini posters like of the covers of the magazines. And here's actually a painted cover. I guess it was from one of the Charlton horror books by Pat Boyette. Nice painted cover. I'm sure Steve could tell me which book that's from. Another little mini poster from one of the other issues. And here's another one. This is a repro of Mysteries of Unexplored Worlds #4. Great Steve Ditko cover. These early Ditkos that he, the work he did for Charlton, I mean, even in low grade, these things are outrageous. I have a few, but I mean, they're hard to find in grade for one thing, but, they're pretty pricey otherwise, too. Okay, and the last thing I want to show here, I'm going to show you having some coffee in my Charlton Comics cup. Speaking of Steve, in one of his last videos, he showed something that I didn't have. Anybody that read Charlton back in the early 70s, you've probably seen the advertisement for this. But they actually did a repro of it. It was like, I don't know if it was a giveaway or something you had to order from Charlton. But it was the comic book guide for artists and writers and letters from 1973. This is I guess apparently this is a self-portrait of Tom Sutton working maniacally away at his drawing board. But it's just like a little, how-to book, how to write, do comics. It's got art by a lot of the great artists in there. Sutton, I think some Steve Ditko, some Wally Wood in there. And I didn't even know they had made this until I saw Steve's video, so I actually had to order 2 copies because I know I'm going to read the cover off one of them. But this is like one of the hardest things to find an original from Charlton. I mean, I've looked everywhere. I mean, I even went so far as to somebody online had had all the pages online, and I actually printed out all the pages, in 8x11 size, and then I saw this and got it from Amazon. But I've already read through it once. We're probably going to be reading through it again, so thanks, Steve, for letting me know about that. And also, Steve was showing some Charlton horror, Beyond the Grave, and I think Midnight Tales. And he had one that he wasn't sure of the cover of, or who did the cover, and I told him it was Bob Hall. And it was actually Beyond the Grave #4, and Charlton was notorious for like reusing covers, even within the same title. So he showed #4, and I thought that's the one I had because a few years ago Bob Hall was at a recent convention, and I took some books to get signed, and I didn't know he'd done a whole lot of Charlton work. Well, he did a handful of stuff. He did some horror, and I think it's right when he got started. But anybody who knows the name Bob Hall knows he did a lot of work for Marvel Comics. Did the Champions, Supervillain Team Up. What else? The Avengers. He had a good run on Avengers, and probably my favorite was the run he had on Squadron Supreme when they had that 12-issue miniseries. But anyway, Steve showed #4, and I was like, well, I've got that one, and that's one of the ones that I got autographed by Bob Hall, and I pulled it out, and I was like, well, that's not #4, that's #8. And getting back to the point where Charlton was notorious for reusing covers and stories, well, this is #8, and it's got the same exact cover as #4, so it's all in the same run. It's a little bit later, so, and like Steve said, there's like a drop-off, where they stopped publishing it. And I found another issue that I got autographed by Bob Hall was #5. You can see where he signed it right there. But that was by Bob Hall, and you can see the difference between the logo here and then the logo on this one. So #4 actually has the old logo with the same cover, and this is #8 with the newer logo. So, like I say, Charlton was pretty good or bad about doing stuff like that. But I always thought that was kind of neat, and when I took these books to get them signed, he's like, wow, said, I didn't know anybody knew I did work at Charlton, So I don't know if it was like a secret he wanted to keep or not, but you know, he was a great guy. I got a couple prints off of him, and you know, got a bunch of books signed. And I think that's probably the next video I'll try to do. I found my box of autograph stuff, so I might show that. But anyway, Steve, it's not number 4, it's number 8 that I had. Same cover, same artist, but there you go. All right, guys, appreciate everybody hanging around for this. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. And as always, onward and upward.